Welcome, everyone, to Dial the Gate, the Stargate Oral History Project. My name is David Reed. I am pleased to present a fellow YouTuber, Marton Zokor. It's Zokor, right? I'm pronouncing it right?
S with
So
an S in the SOCOR.
Sokor? Sokor. Oh,
Yep.
so it wasn't too hard. Okay, so the Z is silent.
Yep.
Martin, how
Good
you
at
doing,
least.
man?
Thank you, sir. Thanks for inviting me. It's a pleasure to be here.
How long have you
Good
been
to
a
chat.
Stargate fan?
Ooh, good question. I was introduced to Stargate around 2006, so I'm relatively a latecomer to the party.
Latecomer. He's only been
But
watching for 20 years. So late.
yeah. But again,
Jeez.
I remember my godfather gifted me a bunch of DVD disc sets. So I was first introduced to Atlantis, and then I had to watch SG-1 retrospectively. So yeah, watching the show became a family routine
Hmm.
after dinner, post-dinner routine, and
Everyone watched it?
yeah, pretty much.
Okay. Okay, wow. How old are
So
you?
phew, I was less than 14.
You were 14 when you
I
saw
was
Atlantis for the
I
first
was
time?
around 14. Yes, yes.
Okay, so you're 1990 then. So you were 7 when SG1 started.
Ah, yes.
So no wonder you came into it a little bit late. So except for like Nicole who saw it when she was like 4 years old. But is Stargate your first sci-fi love?
Probably yes. Uh, as a Y-Gen kid, I loved the Phantom Menace and
Okay.
Star Wars also, but that's like more of a mythological love than a sci-fi love.
P. USA.
Stargate's, yeah, the Sith Lord. So yeah, Stargate is has a special place in my heart, and I'm very glad to be part of this community.
Hmm.
Um, it's cool to engage. It's cool to be part of a fandom that just keeps on going, keeps existing.
Why do you think
So
that
many of,
is? What's Stargate's alchemy? Why does it work as well as it does for as long as it has?
well, probably because it has timeless stories, similar to Trek, of course. Um, well, it's the writing, probably due to the fact that there's so much of it, like 17 seasons of television won't disappear, right? But
Yeah.
to be honest, frankly, I tried to let it go once because they were about to reboot the franchise around 2014, and it was disappointing.
You talking about
So the
Origins?
more, no, I talk about
Earlier.
the Dean Devlin, Roland Emmerich
I see.
reboot thing.
Okay.
Nothing against the guys. I'm just
I just don't
I
want your
spent
product.
more time. Yeah, I spend more time in the TV universe with
Well,
those characters,
we're
right?
talking about 2 hours versus 354.
Exactly.
Um, I've found that people's love for Stargate is proportional, typically, not exclusively, to the hours that they have experienced with it. So it kind of it often makes sense, and also which one they saw first in many cases, though not exclusively. There's a lot of history to this show, and Amazon is recognizing that in the new one with who they have to do it. What did you think about the finding out about Stargate 4 and what do you think we're in for?
Well, November the 19th, right?
November 19th.
2025. It was
Okay.
that day I'll never forget because I
A
was
day that will
home.
live in infamy.
That's for sure, mate. So the story behind it is I was home, and in the morning, my wife began to just giving birth of a child, my second daughter. So it
November
was on that
19th?
day. Yes, yes. So I was
I
home.
think I remember
We
this.
were past the whole thing. She gave her birth at home. So, uh, of course, she passed out next to me, fell asleep. I had the baby on my chest. She was listening to my heartbeat. And okay, it's time for rest. I'll just enable Wi-Fi, check up on parents, tell them everything's all right. And the thing is, I enabled Wi-Fi, and I the first notification I got was from Gateworld that Stargate is back. The second was from you, Dial the Gate, and the third was from Prime Video. So yeah, imagine I was like, okay, I can't take much more dopamine. So
No, you were
uh,
levitating.
yes.
Man, oh man. Wow, dude. That
So
is
second best thing that day. But yeah, I gave it
right.
much thought how they handled, and I was really happy to see you there because obviously I am still a listener of Gate, and of course loving the Gatefold work Darren does. So I think it's very important to involve the franchise. Uh, it was surprising to me that they did it this way.
Hmm.
But so far, they kind of did everything right. I think we can agree upon that. Really
So far, it really
excited,
has felt like they've been batting 1,000 with the trajectory of this new thing. So,
indeed.
um, I know there are a lot of fans who are waiting for the other shoe to drop. You have to accept the fact that you're not going to be in love with everything that's created by someone who creates the next thing. And also, Martin's not the same kind of creator that he was 20 years ago. But we're talking about someone who has an appreciation of the lore, not the least of which reasons is that he created, a quarter of it. So it's a good place to be for us fans to have someone coming back into the fold. This is going to be our Terry Matalas Star Trek Picard moment, I think, for sure. Uh,
Yes, it has a
but time will
similar
tell.
feel to it. Yeah, yeah.
Hmm. Hmm.
We shall see. I'm very excited for the people who are involved, these information tidbits and news we're getting from you, and both Darren, of course. So I'm really glad that that's you who deliver the information and I don't read it on deadline in an article or press release or something, or at least not yet.
The more exposure that it gets, on those spaces, the better, as far as I'm concerned. But I've said this before, and I'll say it again. They could have announced on the ISS, and I'm sure they would have agreed to it. That's the fact that we got the privilege was I still can't get over it. You have a YouTube channel, Stargate
Indeed, I
Seed.
do.
So, and the logo is. I was about to ask about the title of the YouTube channel, and then the logo here is of the seed ship. So,
Yes,
is SGU your
it's
favorite?
that I can tell you for sure. But before they crucify me, the audiences, I would like to tell you that each show I love for different reasons. So,
SGU is my favorite too. It's fine. We'll fight them
okay,
both off.
we're in a good place then. So, yeah,
I love them all for their own reasons too.
it was brought to my attention that the logo looks like of a certain gentleman's
Oh, well, a specific
logo.
gentleman's.
Yeah, whom I share the enthusiasm for sci-fi with, at least that.
Okay.
So, so
What
yeah,
gave you the
Stargate
idea to
Seed.
start Stargate Seed? Yeah.
So yeah, Stargate Seed is my way to share the Stargate love. You know, seeding Stargates. I really like the concept of it. I'm mostly busy with merchandise, as you can see here, but I also
Product
do,
reviews.
yes, yes, time-lapse videos, product reviews. Latest was, I think it was Destiny for Master Replicas, but I also do discussion videos such as about the new series or the video game Stargate deserves. Some things it's best to discuss with the fandom. And
Absolutely.
yeah, concerning the reactions, yeah,
Oh, I recognize those guys. Go ahead.
yeah, I want to. Okay, so uh, theory videos about the fate of the Destiny crew. I'm currently working on a video about the furlings, of course, because
Oh
of course
boy.
one needs to discuss the furlings without knowing anything about them.
Everyone the
It
Furlings,
won't be a
man.
short video, but yeah.
I wouldn't think so. Um, yeah, there's a lot of mythology there to play with. Uh, Tell me about this advent calendar. I saw this thing briefly. Um, what was
Uh-huh.
this like?
Well, yeah. BlueBrixx, your biggest company, has released advent calendars, sort of diorama sets. It's a really cool concept. Do something little every day. Um, the well, they decided to do an SG-1 Atlantis mixed set, but last year they did the the concept was for the feature film.
Oh
So yeah,
wow.
small diorama sets from the feature film. There's a poster of it. Yeah, just small dioramas. I
How long
think
would
they
it would
look,
each one take? 10 minutes?
oh, probably a quarter hour, so
Oh, really?
15 or
15
20
minutes.
minutes,
Okay. Wow, look at all
depending,
these.
depending.
Wow.
Yeah.
Catherine Langford figure.
Yep.
This is
Uh,
so cool,
s-
man.
yeah, yeah, I really enjoyed them. So, yeah, I did some articles for Gateworld, review articles. I think it was suited to contribute to Gateworld, since these sets currently aren't available in the US,
This is
which
true.
is a bummer. So, but I
Yeah, although
think
that
it's,
swings both ways.
yeah, I'm pretty sure they're working on it. So,
Yeah,
um,
very
yeah.
cool.
Um,
Um,
Talking
your
about minifigures.
yes,
So, yeah, I have this crown jewel. It's more of a recent thing.
dude,
So, well,
did you make those?
now these are the BlueBrixx minifig
Oh,
collection
that
so
that is
far.
them. Okay.
Yep. Signed by Chris Judge.
Wow. Can you tilt it a little bit forward so we can see the back row there by any chance?
Mhm.
Okay.
Okay, trying my
Yeah,
best
Christopher's
to.
getting in the way there, but wow, okay. Man, I recognize
Lots of
some and I don't
SG-1.
recognize others. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Anubis and Ra, the Wraith,
There's
obviously.
Martin Lloyd. So,
Martin's in
yeah.
there?
Yep, in the red
Merlin,
shirt.
Adria. Okay. Ah, okay. Yeah.
In the
Very, very
same shirt.
cool.
Yeah.
Wow.
So yes, Chris was really surprised that such thing even exists. So he was asking me about trading cards, whether there'll be new trading cards, and I get where he's coming from, of course. Well, I haven't heard anything yet. I'm pretty sure we're gonna have some more additional licensees,
I
but
suspect.
that's to be announced, or
Yeah, for sure.
those are speculation.
I need to reach out to the team that already put out the previous cards. I sure hope they get this for the next one as well because I want to keep it with the family. Did BlueBrixx create the Wormhole Extreme uh Stargate?
Yes. Well, one moment.
Okay.
I should. So they released a embarkation room set,
Oh, okay.
and I have built much of it into. So existing dioramas I've built into the set, like jack golfing, but
Oh my gosh,
there
there
it
it is.
is.
Wow, that is so cool. It's so cool yet so
Yeah.
ugly. But you are a completist. So there you go. What's your favorite
Well,
piece from your collection?
I think the minifig collection is
The minifigures.
kind of cool. Also, the ZPM, the glowing ZPM is pretty cool.
Wow. Man,
It
oh man.
was a
There's
fun build. The Aurora class with its asymmetrical shape. I needed to build things twice, but it's not so even. It has odd shapes and
it's one of the Atlantis' skyscrapers, except just in flight, sideways.
yes.
And a little bit of a different color. Yeah, the I personally have never been crazy about the Aurora class, but it's
Really?
yeah, I it feels like it's cobbled together. I appreciate it for what it is. My love has always just been with the 304. So personally, but yeah. Um, what are you? So you're working on the furlings next. What else is on the way for Stargate Seed?
I had tremendous feedback for a video. It was a mashup about the Atlantis team finding I think it was called Orion. The first time they find the stasis pods in the Aurora class warship.
Yes.
So I mashed it up with Gauntlet.
Oh, really?
And yeah, it was, I thought it was fun, but it really made people think about uh, certain story elements within the show that could be utilized in the future or yeah.
Okay.
So I plan to do similar one to those. And
Okay.
of course, I just imagined that while they're asleep, young Rush, uh, they could just have a similar dream state, or you could tell a story without resetting anything or without touching anything inside the ship or with the story of universe. So you could,
Interesting.
it's a sandcastle and you can tread carefully without bumping into anything there that exists.
Don't want to touch any of the load-bearing structures. Keep everything as is, but
Well,
have fun in
yeah.
that space. So, um,
Yeah.
I am hoping against hope that we have some kind of answer to some of the stuff that came before. I don't think it's going to happen in this first season of this thing though. So my prayer is that it does well enough that additional content will be assured. Is basically what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, we share that that thinking. What do you think about the huge gap? Because if it's set in the here and now, as all Stargate did before, do you
We're just
think
going to skip
they'll?
over that time frame.
But they
I think that this is going to be
just
set
to keep
elsewhere.
us locked to our seats, existing audiences, they could give us some breadcrumbs or some just behind information. Or I'm not saying that like a spin-off, but in the first season they should just retrospectively trying to build up some information that makes sense, at least for a new story. I understand there are time limitations within this new streaming, so
That's true.
obviously less episodes than before. We get to spend less time with the characters. They have to build a lot within less. So they have a tough job, but I trust them as writers.
I think it's wide open. I am eager to meet new characters and fall in love all over again. And then once that's successful, go back and mine the past and fill in some of the details of the last, 15, 16 years by the time this thing comes out.
Yes,
Because
yes.
there's a lot still to explore, and the universe, pardon the pun, is wide open. So, but we'll all
Yeah,
be
I
there to experience it
understand.
together globally.
Yeah. It was a pain in the so it arrived so much later. You got to see these episodes upon release.
That's
So
true.
I was always kind of like I remember typing into the Google that how do I get a Nielsen box? Like
Ah, you wanted
I
to be
often
it, yeah,
visited Gateful
yeah.
to view to check out the viewing figures, and I was like, okay, I'd like to help. How do I get the Nielsen box? So I'm
I think
counted
you're
in the
bestowed
audience.
one. I don't think you can ask for one, but yeah,
Since I'm
there's,
not in the US, that's just out
yeah,
of the question. So yeah,
exactly.
had to learn
No,
it
for
the
sure.
hard way.
But
So yeah,
the fact of the matter is, they've got Amazon's got their finger on the pulse of all of this, so they have no problem accessing the data for anything at this point. That's one of the reasons the show's coming back.
yes.
So I really appreciate you sharing your websites with me. What you don't know is by the time that this goes to air, StargateTrivia.com will be live.
Whoa.
Yep.
I saw you had auditioning for trivia members or future trivia members.
Yes, that's something else though.
Seemed like a
That's
nice bunch.
well, there was a good group of folks. I
Yeah.
pity we weren't able to complete it properly because my computer crapped the mattress. Um, but yeah, we will have a number of them, if not all of them, playing with us in our first game, probably in late June, I would suspect. But we'll see about that. I wanted to know if you wanted to play trivia really quickly with this new tool.
Sure. Let's
Alrighty,
try it.
let's see what happens. In critical mass, Martin, what does Taylor perform upon Sharon's death?
Oh, well, the undying ceremony.
You think so?
Well, let's check it out.
Oh, it was the
Okay.
ring ceremony.
The ring.
Yes. What is the Pegasus term for a wraith attack on a human colony?
The calling, of course.
That's right. What is the name of the girl now dating Chloe's former boyfriend on Earth?
Megan? Surely not Selena. Selena? Really? Well,
As far as the public is concerned, O'Neill and Carter perform.
mm, aerospace. What? As far as the public is concerned, yeah, yeah, yeah. Aerospace engineering?
Deep space radar
Ooh,
telemetry. In his
okay.
noir storyline in 200, Teal'c was keeping the streets safe and
Defending the weak.
keeping it
Well,
real.
he did defend keeping it real. Okay, I
That's
was.
it. And who was the
Wish this
voiceover
someone.
for that?
Who has it?
Who was the voiceover artist for that clip?
Can't remember.
Isaac Hayes.
Isaac Hayes.
Yeah. Which system lord did not negotiate with Thor on Earth?
Oh, whoa, 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 whoa. Morrigan. Or
That's
Cronus.
right. In Miller's Crossing, where are Jeannie and Caleb during their home invasion?
Mm, they're in the kitchen.
Are they in the kitchen? I think they're in the bedroom.
Um, Okay, Childhood's End.
Yeah. Why did the people from M7G677 die before 25? What were they doing?
They believed it protected them from the Wraith.
That's right.
Mhm.
What keeps Cull Warrior bodies functioning day to day?
Gould symbiote.
That's right. What did Ronan say he needed to learn? This is in First Strike.
Oh, Patience or
Science. He needs to learn some
science.
science. I'm not very good in situations like this, he says. Yeah.
Retrieve the token tunnel crystals. Last
Last
stand.
stand. Uh-huh.
Sam and Elliot, maybe.
Sam and Elliot were stuck in a Sam stayed with Elliot and Elliot couldn't
Some
really
parts
move.
collapsed, or yeah.
Right, exactly. Yeah.
Prison
Prison camp leader Terrell described Dr. McKay's type as someone who did what? This is condemned.
talks too much.
Whines and complains.
Whines and complains.
Yeah. What does Omok say to SG1 at the beginning of Enigma?
Leave now.
Don't help us.
Don't help us.
Yeah. And who visits Daniel on the day of his weapons launch in absolute power?
It's probably Jack.
That's right. Very good, man.
It's
Not too
tough.
bad.
It's tough.
Well, I had it on hard, so yeah. And you can set the difficulty level, you can set the show, and as of right now, there's French as well. So
Ooh.
yeah. So I'll give you the link so you can have
It's
a
nice,
sneak peek.
nice. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you,
Absolutely.
sir.
Yeah. So anything you want to leave everyone with before we wrap up?
Well, I think we all share the excitement for the Stargate, as in the new series. I'm really excited for anything that's going to happen, and it's a pleasure to to see such bright future for this franchise and its audience, and much more to come, I guess. So thank you for
Absolutely.
this
Oh,
opportunity.
it's a treat, Martin. Thank you for coming on and hanging out and sharing your love of the show. So it means a lot to have you. That is Martin Sokor of Stargate Seed. My name is David Reed. You're watching the Stargate Oral History Project. If you enjoy Stargate and you want to see more content like this on YouTube, do me a favor and click that like button. It does make a difference with the show and will continue to help us grow our audience. And if you have Stargate friends out there, let them know that we exist and share the show, because sharing is caring. My tremendous thanks to my patrons who pull this show off week after week. I had to cross the Rubicon going in that direction. It wasn't something that I was crazy to do, but I was so shocked to discover the number of people who were willing to participate in making this show possible week after week, and that blew me away. Case in point. But it's the show is not created in a vacuum. It really does happen when everyone comes together to pull this thing off, and I'm just so thankful for all of the help. I cannot say. I'm out of town right now, so these are pre-recorded episodes. We've got a few more heading your way before I come back. I'm not exactly sure when this one is going to be dropping, but I should be back a little bit before mid-June. So I hope you've been enjoying the content that we've been creating. Thanks so much to my Crackerjack team of folks who helped me pull these shows off week in and week out. Thanks to Frederick Marcoux over at Concepts Web, who keeps the website up and going. And StargateTrivia.com is available. So go have fun with that. My name is David Reed for Dial the Gate. I appreciate you tuning in, and I will see you on the other side.